What's up, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. And good evening. Happy Thursday. I see L Man Gaming just gave us our first question and don't have any questions in the queue. And just a reminder, guys, that with these lives, if you are here and you have a question, you have priority. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was I switched my summer vacation and I have to get some of this off my chest because some of it I think is just too fun not to tell everyone. I did a video about my business class tickets to Europe, and I'll kind of go over that just a little bit. If you haven't seen that video, it's under the Maximum Value Redemptions series. So we'll wait a minute or two. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the queue here. And I also have a new segment to the lives, and it'll be right about 7:30, I think. We have a question for Carlos. When my son gets finished with his nighttime routine and he gets his jammies on, he really likes to come in and say hi to everybody on the lives. So if you have a question for Carlos, he's only going to answer one because we don't want him in here for a long time. And, but he does get one question. So if you do have a question for Carlos, let's hear it. And if you like these lives and you want me to do more, slap that like button, please. We got Matt Clausen has his own credit card YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't. He's a guy who has probably a different perspective than me. And if you're like me, you really like other people's ideas. Scott LeRae, my man. Listen, guys, if you want or you are curious about vacationing or traveling to Africa, absolutely check out Scott LeRae's YouTube channel. He's the only guy I know that goes everywhere in Africa and has super cool videos about the nightlife, the food, the beaches. Just talking to him just a very little bit, I've learned a lot about Africa I never heard of. Like there's a place in Africa where the French people retire to. Didn't know that. Again, Scott LeRae, he's in here. Hit him up. Hit up his channel. Does good work. Konstantinos Points, my man from Greece. Look, we got serious international men of mystery here. Konstantinos and Scott LeRae. We got the Africa-Greek connection here. Konstantinos, it is not Greece. I'll get to it in a minute, but it's not Greece. Not this time. Yeah, L-Man Gaming, I am going to tell you how I'm flying back. I'm going to actually do a maximum value redemptions video on it next week, but I will talk about what it actually is on here. So you guys get it first. You deserve it. You take the time out of your day to come here on a Thursday evening to be live with me to share this time. So I will let the cat out of the bag as soon as I get to it. Traveling Hatter is at DFW. Traveling Hatter, please tell me you're at the Capital One Lounge. Which, guys, let's just look at what we're talking about here. The YouTube guy is live talking to the guy who's actually boots on the ground in the airport right now. How awesome is that? Or maybe he's just in Dallas, Fort Worth. Either way, still cool. Beefy Brian, which is a super cool name. Hilton Gold, Spirit Gold, A-List, Delta. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Some status match action from Beefy Brian. I like that, man. Yes, the Traveling Hatter is in the Capital One Lounge right now. How cool is that? Very cool, Traveling Hatter. I love that lounge. Probably my favorite lounge I can go to quite a bit. And I'm actually going there in February. Very excited about going to that lounge. So we got 28 people in here, which is more than enough to go ahead and get started. I want to talk about my European vacation, but I want to preface it with what I originally booked. I originally booked this trip. I think I like to leave like the day after or the next day after the little guy gets out of school. So graduate school, one day, boom, we're gone. Kind of missed the summer rush. So what I originally booked was I live in Columbus. We were going to fly out to the West Coast and spend 2 days at the Beverly Hills Waldorf on free night certificates. From there, we were going to fly to Maui and stay at the Maui Waldorf for 6 nights. Really awesome. Me personally, I didn't really want to go to Hawaii again. We just went last May, but my wife and son really wanted to go. Coming back, we were going to stay at I don't remember what it was called, but it's that really expensive Hilton in Santa Monica. We were going to use another 2 free night certificates there. All in all, it was a huge hotel redemption, like $12,000 in hotels, which is ridiculous, and then come home. So it was going to be 10 days, bookended with trips to LA, and I was going to see a bunch of creators and probably do too much work, but we canned that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to Hawaii 2 years in a row. And the simple fact is, I like finding award availability and going to different places. And like a lot of you guys, we got Glenn Ardonia in the house, my Filipino security team leader. Say hi to Glenn. But I like to go to places I've never been before. And I wanted to take this opportunity because it's the only opportunity I have to put 10 or 11 days in travel. So let me get to it. This is how it goes. And I'll get a little bit, I'll give you the overview, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit more specifically about these things. One thing I found out, and this was in my maximum value redemption video, is I found out that Toronto International has tons of great international flights, especially to Europe. So flying to Columbus, myself, my wife, the little guy, all of us, flying from Columbus to Toronto. From Toronto, we are flying KLM business class, KLM Flying Blue business class to Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a trip we had scheduled. We had to cancel. We've always wanted to go there. So we're going to Amsterdam. We're going to stay 2 nights at the Kimpton De Witt. Come on. We're going to interrupt this for question for Carlos.
My hair's not combed yet.
Your hair's not, well, come on. You can comb your hair later. You can comb your hair. You're not even dried off. All right. So does anybody have a questions for Carlos? Real quick. He gets one question. Keith S. No, Toronto is not drivable for me. It would be if I wanted to go to Toronto, but I don't want to go to Toronto and leave my car there for 10 days. It wouldn't be enjoyable for me to drive there anyway. I don't think they have any questions for you.
Okay, that's fine.
Do I? Okay. Scott LeRae says, do you love the Buckeyes?
Yes.
Football, wrestling?
Mhm.
Football. He likes the Buckeyes and football. All right. Oh, does Carlos like Minecraft?
Yes.
You got the onesie on. Is it your favorite game? Put your hood up. Let's see it. That's Minecraft, guys. Get in here. All right. Go downstairs. Thank you, sir. You brought me a bunch of views and likes. Thank you. Close that door, too.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. He loves to come in on the lives. He just does. I don't know if he thinks it's really cool that his dad's a YouTuber, but those kids his age really think it's cool. All right. So JJ, oh, he asked. We'll do it. Ask Carlos one day. He wants to go to Ireland and Scotland. I can answer that for him. We're not going to either one of those places this year. So Flying Blue, KLM to Amsterdam. 2 nights in the Kimpton De Witt in Amsterdam. If you haven't been to Amsterdam, it is a really expensive place to stay. They levy some pretty high tourist taxes on the hotels. So here we go. Stan the Credit Frog is in the house. You have to hit up Stan's channel. I hit up Stan's channel because for me, Stan takes the emotion out of this game and lays down the facts, and you can't argue them. What he says is gospel. So listening to Stan actually makes me change the way I want to do things in 2024. So definitely check him out. Glenn Ardonia asked Carlos about them Bengals. Bengals could go to the playoffs with an arena football quarterback or whoever that guy is. We'll see. Probably not. But we are going down Saturday to watch the game. All right. Kimpton De Witt, and we're paying cash. What I also found out is in Europe, they don't have a bunch of hotels that I can book with points for 3 people. They have those really crazy occupancy rules where you can't bring a third person unless you rent another room or certain types of rooms. So I couldn't find anything with points that made any sense. So I decided to book the Kimpton with cash, and it's expensive. It's probably $1,500 for 2 nights. Not something I do a lot, but it's where I want to stay, and I'm going to earn a lot of points staying there. So this is where it gets really cool. The community post I put up the other day where I had you guess where I was going to go. I'm going to fly from Amsterdam to the island of Malta for 5 nights. If you're not familiar with Malta, I think it's something that's someplace that's getting a lot more popular in the last few years. But I went to Malta in either 96 or 98 when I was in the Navy, when I was a kid. And I always wanted to go back. It was one of those places where everybody told us, man, you'd never be able to afford to come here if you weren't in the Navy. So I want to go back to Malta, and I'm going to stay at the Hyatt, or the Hilton. They have a super nice Hilton, the Hilton Malta, giant pool, perfect location, which I think everywhere is a perfect location in Malta. But it's Malta is located between Sicily and Libya, and I think it's 90 miles away from Libya. 300 days of sunshine a year. Really unique place. It's kind of been conquered by everybody. I think it was governed by the English until the 1960s. So really cool place. I can't wait to they have the Blue Lagoon, the Blue Grotto, all these different things. So 5 nights on points at the Malta Hilton, and it was only like 70,000 points per night. Very, very good price. All right, let me check out the Oh, the Platinum OG is still in Cancun, baby. Very nice, Platinum OG. Live it up there. You are definitely having a better time than most of us. Nice moves. Matt McGrath says, luckily staying with friends out 4 nights in Amsterdam. Flying Blue, 25% bonus. There you go. So yeah, if you could stay with friends, man, that's way more fun. But the Kimpton there, which I'm a big fan of the IHG program, and it looks like I'm starting to be a big fan of Kimpton hotels. JJ has a question. Do I plan on keeping both Hilton Aspire cards in 2024? I'm not going to answer that with a big, long explanation, but I will have a video just on that because it looks like in 2024, I could be moving away from American Express and maybe moving away from Hilton as my number one. We're actually moving in that direction right now. So I will probably have a 2024 strategy video coming pretty soon, maybe next week. David Williams says Malta. Malta is super cool. I think it's going to be a little more popular, a little more crowded now, but it just makes sense. It's not only that's not where we're finished. We're going to keep going from Malta. John says Malta's on his list. David Ruiz got it wrong. A lot of people did. Not very many people picked Malta. And the picture that I put on the community post, if you guys aren't familiar, you have to be my age or older, but Robin Williams, the late comedian Robin Williams, actor, played Popeye in a motion picture that was filmed in Malta. And if you ever Google it or check out the pictures, the village Popeye lived in is still there as a set. And it's just so cool and so picturesque. And it's still there. I can't wait to take my little boy doesn't know who Popeye is, I don't think. But maybe that'll make him watch the Robin Williams movie. And one of the cool things they have there. Oh, John, thank you, sir, for the super thanks. It's for Carlos's Ireland and Scotland dream. Carlos has already been to Ireland, but he definitely wants to go back. So we will put that money into Carlos's dream vacation fund, and I'm sure he'll get to go there pretty soon. I'm sorry, I don't want to miss anybody. Malta's great for Russian money laundering. Well, I don't have any money, and I'm not Russian, so maybe I'll learn some tips. Malta is notable for the visa investment program, and I don't think I can have enough money to qualify for that. So I'm in it for the Knights Templar history and the different and the weather. Big stonks. Uncle Luke, I just made my first redemption to Italy next September to see the Vatican. Big stonks. Way to go, dude. Thank you so much for all the info to allow me to make this happen. It means a lot. Big stonks, you did it. You sought out the information and you did you executed the redemption. I hope it's everything you think it is. And good job, man. I hope you take somebody special, or if you don't, I hope you meet somebody special, or at least have some fun. Keith says, or Matt Clausen says, Cyprus takes the cake on the Russian money laundering. Don't think I've been to Cyprus, but it's definitely an option. Benjamin Allen, all these YouTubers in here, so much amazing content to watch. Benjamin, let me tell you something about the YouTubers that are in here. The ones that I've met, the ones I've associated with, I can tell you they are super high level stand up guys. So a lot of the guys that you see in my lives and when you see me comment in their lives, those guys are the real deal, big time dudes, big time men in general, very good people. Malta Hilton is nice there. Kevin Witherspoon vlogs. He stayed 5 nights in July. They do continental breakfast for diamonds. So be prepared for breakfast in the lounge. Also great upgrades. Kevin Witherspoon, thank you so much for that information. You don't really meet a lot of people who have been to the Hilton in Malta. So thanks for that, man. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I get emotional thinking that I can take my family to a Mediterranean island 90 miles off the coast of Africa for vacation, like I'm some big shot. Keith S. says, welcome to Team Hyatt. Keith, I have stayed at more Hyatts in 2023 than all other hotel chains combined. Still not Team Hyatt, though. Scott LeRae went to Amsterdam back in 2014, and he doesn't remember a whole lot. I can understand that. You were a little bit younger then. Frank remembers Popeye the movie. It's been 30 years. That's an older movie, but Robin Williams, if you even know who he is, really long history of one of the bigger comedians in history. He was a big, huge physical comedian, really popular. And I think his material probably, it's entertaining today, I think. It's not, I think his stuff will stand up and hold up to what's funny now. Matt Clausen says Luke's number one chain, IHG or Choice. Listen, I like talking about Choice. I think they have a good, really good credit card and a really good program. I've never stayed at one. I have 100,000 Choice points. I've booked Choice hotels and I always cancel them for something else that makes more sense. And if you guys don't know by now that when I book something, I changed at least 3 times before I get there. So Anthony Venture says, Luke, have you had high-end experiences with IHG thus far? No, I've only stayed at lower-end IHG properties. I do have a Kimpton booked for the Cayman Islands in spring break, and it's like an ungodly redemption. It's a $1,200 a night room for 70,000 IHG points. It's unreal. I'm going to base a lot of that off that. And then I have that Kimpton DeWitt property booked. So I have a lot better insight on the higher end IHG stuff this year, but I'm jumping in with 2 feet. Glenn says, every sailor knows Popeye. That's true. If you guys didn't know, me and Glenn were sailors back in the 1990s. And that's why we are familiar with all these places in Europe and Caribbean. And that's the guy I meet once a year in Dubai or Prague or wherever. He's my Filipino security guard. He's an expert on knives and hand-to-hand combat and that sort of thing. Nobody bothers me when I go anywhere. Gideon P says he flew standby recently and got a first-class seat. Now, that's something I have never done, the standby thing, because it doesn't fit my traveling style with a family, but I'd like to get more into that in the future. Constantinos says you have to go to an Intercontinental. I had one booked and I changed it. So I'll eventually get there. Anthony says might be a lot of people talking up IHG for in 2024. We'll see. Sean D. Luke, how are you, my friend? I'm very well, very well. I had a good nap today, and I stuffed myself with Chipotle before I got on here. My ideal European trip is to walk on the beaches of Normandy and visit Saint Saint Michel Abbey. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. When I did have a Paris, France trip booked, I had the Normandy trip booked with it, and I canceled that and did something else. I can't remember. Beefy Brian went to Dubai in September, booked FHR on the Palm and got upgraded to an oceanfront room. Nice moves, man. Me and Glenn Ardonia went to Dubai in September a while back, and we stayed at the Atlantis on the Palm. We stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, and we stayed at the whatever the Hilton is that looks like a more traditional neighborhood, like an older neighborhood. Super cool place. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle wants to recap. going from Columbus to Toronto and flying to Amsterdam and staying 2 nights at the Kimpton in Amsterdam, and then flying to Malta and staying 5 nights at the Malta Hilton. Now, here's where we're going from there. From Malta, we are flying to Zurich, Switzerland. Switzerland is one of those places that, as far as I can remember, I've always wanted to visit, and it's for absolutely no particular reason at all. I just want to go to Switzerland. I want to drive a car on some of those roads James Bond drove on. So we're going to Switzerland. Now, here's where it gets kind of cool. With my wife's points, her Chase UR points, we're staying 2 nights at the Park Hyatt in Zurich. Big time redemption, right? Big time, super nice Hyatt. I don't think I've ever stayed at a Hyatt that nice, but 2 nights in Zurich. And then we're going to continue that with a very special treat for her. She wants the European train ride. So we're riding a train from Zurich to Geneva. It's a 3-hour train ride. We're riding first class. It goes into the mountains and along the lakes and all that stuff, whatever. People like that. So we're going to do it. We're going to spend 1 night in Geneva and then fly home. Now, our home flight, return flights, is another redemption I've always wanted to do. I'll get to that in a second. JJ says prediction. Luke will have the Ritz card in 2025, turning his back on Team Hilton. I don't think I'm going to have the Ritz card. Ritz kind of plays by their own rules, and I have stated a few, but I don't think I'll be getting the Ritz card. Let me see. The Platinum OG. Switzerland is the most beautiful country he's ever been to. He blasted through the Alps on an exotic car rally. That sounds really cool. I don't drive fast, but that sounds really awesome. I can't wait to visit Switzerland. I really can't. How about the Matchmaker Museums? What's the whole point? Watchmaker Museum. I'm sorry, I can't read. Konstantinos. How about the watchman? Konstantinos. I can't lie. Part of about going to Switzerland is I want to buy a watch in Switzerland. I want to buy a Swiss watch in Switzerland, and I'm going to have to go to at least 2 cities in Switzerland to get that done, I think. I mean, everybody who's a watch person, every watch they have kind of has a meaning and kind of a vibe about it. Right now, we're wearing the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. This is the bigger version of what Daniel Craig wore in one of those James Bond movies. But imagine buying a Swiss watch in Geneva where it was made. I'm going to try to do it. Matt Clausen says Switzerland is amazing. I can't wait to see it. Mark Henderson says the Intercontinental in Bangkok, flat out amazing. He likes Kimptons as well. Yeah, and Kimptons have a wine hour, so that'll be fun. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle wants to do a European trip somewhere soon to German and see some World War II memorials and drink beer. We went to Germany in July, and my wife and son really loved Germany, so we do have to go back. John says that's big league. I agree, man. I'm really excited about this trip, and I haven't even told you about the return flight. Matt Klaus says make sure to get some cheese and potatoes. I'm not the biggest adventurous eater in the world, but I will try stuff over there. We'll see. Now I'll try stuff in Switzerland. I might not try as much stuff in Vietnam. That I could do regular stuff, the wacky stuff like crickets and stuff. Probably not going to happen. Platinum OG says that trip will definitely knock my Aunt Connie's socks off. It's not only going to knock Aunt Connie's socks off, it's going to cross her eyes too. Let me see. How many days would be in the just 2 days in the Netherlands? Just 2 days. Basically, here's what my strategy with this thing. My biggest strategy was I wanted to get the best deal on an airline. I really wanted to fly to anywhere in Europe. So I used points. Wait a minute, what did I use? Seats.aero. I used Seats.aero, and the best flight I could find was that KLM Flying Blue flight. I want one of those little blue and white houses. I wanted to fly, something really nice. And Amsterdam just happened to be one of the places we wanted to stop. We didn't want to stay there very long, but I think it's a great way to get to Europe. It's a fairly quick flight, like 6 or 7 hours. L-Man Gaming says, isn't Switzerland the most expensive European country? They're all, Amsterdam and Switzerland are super expensive. Got to pick some videos, I guess. Augie's Travel says he spent 116 nights at Choice Properties this year, lower end properties. He's survived no bed bugs, and he's flush with chase points. Augie, that's kind of badass, man, that you could survive 160 nights at lower end chase properties. You should have made a vlog or something, man. Recorded that journey. That's impressive. David Ruiz says his wife, him and his wife just went to Switzerland last year. Yeah. So drive through the lake surrounded by mountains. Yeah, I can't wait, man. I really can't wait. Beautiful, beautiful place from what I understand. And we don't have a set itinerary at all. We are there just to see the sights and just to be cool, just to hang out. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle wants to know, can he use Virgin Atlantic points to book flights to Europe? Because there's a 30 Lynn's Rideshare Hustle. I have a couple videos on my Maximum Value Redemption series about using Virgin Atlantic points for flights to Europe. You can fly Delta One. Very difficult right now, in my opinion, to find availability. But with Virgin points, you can fly Air France. You can fly KLM Flying Blue. You can fly Virgin. You can fly a lot of different stuff. And just check out that series. And I have at least 2 or 3 videos just on Virgin Atlantic points. Adam says, what brands am I thinking of? This live is suddenly touching on both. Are you talking about watches, Adam? Okay, watch brands. I want a Rolex. I'm not into Rolex yet. I want to get into Rolex. So I'm on the list at my local AD, and I feel good about the guy I'm dealing with. But I want to buy a Rolex in Geneva. Does that sound like it? I do like Omegas. And I have a Tudor, and I really like I wear my Tudor more than I wear any other watch. It's a Tudor Pelagos titanium watch. It's just amazing. I wear it more than any other watch because it's that much better for me. My problem with Rolex is I have an 8-inch wrist, so they don't make very many watches that I can even wear. It's like most of the watches I have to get in the store because I have to add links to them. So I can't really wear anything less than 41 millimeters. Sorry for getting off on a watch tangent. We're not a watch channel. Matt Clausen's talking about the Swiss cheese and the cured meats. I can't wait, man. Geo Bao is stuck in traffic. Hey, man, anything we can do to make your traffic a little easier, man, we're here for you. Adam says it's hard to buy a Rolex anywhere these days. I know. But if I can go to even an airport Rolex AD and find a Datejust, that's enough for me. It's a Datejust is something I'll keep forever. And if I got it in Geneva or Zurich, it would still be special. Or maybe even an Explorer. I mean, I'm not asking for a lot. And Konstantinos does not want to pay more than retail. Me either, buddy. Adam says the Pelagos I love the Pelagos. I do. So let me while we're on this topic of Switzerland and Swiss stuff, we're going to Geneva by train. We're only going to stay 1 night in Geneva. And the next day we are flying Swiss Air business class back to JFK. Now, I have no reasoning that I've always wanted to fly Swiss Air in business class other than I like the way it looks. And it's Swiss. I have, put it this way, I think I had like 25 Swiss Army knives at one point. I just like stuff, and I had Swiss water bottles. For whatever reason, I can't really explain it. I like stuff that's Swiss. I think they have a really nice reputation of quality build and just a really cool culture. So Swiss Air business class on the 330, I think, the Airbus. I'm sitting in the throne seat. So really excited about that. And all that is it's 10 or 11 nights. So I put together most of it with points. Now, some of it was cash. I actually paid cash for my positioning flight to Toronto, and I paid cash to and from Malta. I didn't have any chase points. So I couldn't really book it through the Chase Travel Portal, and that's something I really would have liked to have done if I had the CSR. So next year, when I probably will have the CSR, that's something I would have booked through the Chase Travel Portal for sure. But I didn't, and I'm comfortable with paying cash for some of that stuff. The Park Hyatt is on points. We're staying at I think I'm staying at a Holiday Inn or a Holiday Inn Express in Geneva, and I also think it's an airport Holiday Inn. So it's a much more economical stay. This is the end of the journey. You know, we want to be really close to the airport. By then, I think everybody's going to be kind of run down and ready to go home. So I booked on points in a Holiday Inn or Holiday Inn Express at the Geneva airport, and so most of it is with points. Some of it is paid for, and even the stuff I paid for was kind of expensive. Kind of went overboard a little bit. Bobby Yakuza dropped a super thanks on us. Thank you, sir. He says, going tomorrow and need some advice. Staying at the Logan in Philly. He's got Hilton Diamond. Should I check in there for a chance at an upgrade, or is it possible to get offered? Listen, I got upgraded through the app. And I don't know where it was. I think it might have been Prague, but I've never been upgraded through the app here in the United States. But I also always check in person because I've seen them read the reservation and look at me, and I can feel those judgy eyes. But in the reservation under special requests or whatever, I always put the occasion I'm staying, and I put any diamond upgrades welcome. And what I've seen is I've seen the person at the desk say thank you for being a diamond, and then they look at it. You can tell they've read that, and they look at me. And I've gotten upgraded that way. I never really ask for upgrades, but I request it in the app or in the reservation, and I've had them say, "Let me see what I have as far as upgrades for this special occasion." So that's how I do it. I know some people stand there with the app open on their phone and say, "No, you have a suite available. I can see it right here." I don't do that. I'm never going to do that. But if you really want one, I guess nothing against those people. Long way travels. You going to Switzerland? Yes, sir. We are going to Switzerland, Zurich and Geneva. Lynn's rideshare. Do you need a visa to fly to Europe in 2024 for Americans? It depends on. I don't think you need a visa anywhere in the UE or the EU, the European Union. That's always something that I always look case by case basis. And as far as I know, I don't need anything in particular for where I'm going. And I didn't need anything for Prague back in October. I didn't need anything for Mexico last month. So I don't think so, Lynn. I always Google and check every single country, though. Adam says Rolex holds family appeal for me. He's a Swiss, German, English American living in London. Okay, where Rolex was founded. I'm not familiar with Christopher Ward, but Longines. I've been really looking at those hard lately. I just looked at them today, and I could see me picking up a Longines. Those are really cool. I already have enough diver watches, so I don't really need any more of those. So yeah, good taste, man. Vincent Pascal, if someone ended up canceling all their platinum cards, what would be a great alternative luxury hotel program? I think Chase is revamping theirs right now. I think IHG has the ambassador status that you can purchase when you're staying at Intercontinentals. I just bought the ambassador status, but I haven't stayed at Intercontinental yet. So I would be willing to try that, and I'm going to try it sometime this year. I don't know when. But IHG has a program. Chase has a program. I have not heard anyone using Capital One's you find hotels and resorts alternative. So I don't know about that one. Yeah, Long Way says there is a fee now to travel to Europe, and I'm not sure how you get that. I'm not really worried about that just yet, but Wong Wei says Zurich is very nice. He stayed at the park. It's Wong Wei that we're staying, the Park Hyatt. So we'll be Park Hyatt brothers. Scott LeRae, thinking about heading back to London in April. Thanking Virgin Atlantic. Any insight? The only insight I have, Scott, is anything that flies in or out of the UK levies heavy taxes and fees, and that's why I've not flown there. If you have time, I almost think it makes sense to fly into Paris and then go to London, or fly into Dublin, Ireland, and then go to London. But if time's an issue, I don't think that's a very good idea. But I know anything you want to do in business class, there are some exceptions. If you can do American Airlines, and I think if you can book American through Cathay Pacific, you can get by those taxes and fees. But I'd have to really dig into that because I haven't done it. Beefy Brian says, watch your phone for pickpockets. Here's the thing, Beefy Brian. You're probably the same way, but there are much better targets for petty crime than me. So I don't worry a whole lot about that. I do have an awareness, but when it comes to a lot of the different crime, I always say criminals have one very major attribute. The only thing they're really good at is picking victims. And just because the way I look and carry myself, I'm generally not picked as one of those victims. But definitely good tip. I definitely will be watching. I'm going to do the fanny pack, the old man fanny pack, so they won't be able to get to my phone. That's how I travel, boys. Yeah, Wong Wei says Switzerland is very expensive. Harsh Hemnani, thoughts on Marriott versus IHG? Here's how I see it, man. And I've said this 100 times, and my opinion is definitely going to evolve and change. But I say Hilton has the best credit cards, Marriott has the best properties, and Hyatt has the best points value. Where IHG comes in is, I think they have a lot of lower end economical stays that are just fine, and they sprinkle in some higher end stuff. But I think they're the underdog. I think they're the forgotten program. I don't do Marriott anymore because I just had too much trouble getting value for their points. The only time I could get real value is for the lower end economical stuff. Fairfield Inn and Suites, Courtyards, I could get over a cent per point. But for their higher end stuff, I was never able to get really good value from it. And they're really expensive. Victor Martinez, any advice on first-time international travelers? Just got my passport for the first time this year. Yeah, man. Find a here. There, like I said in my last video, there's been a lot of talk about redemption value. This is my opinion on it. Any redemption's good, but this is your first one. Find a good redemption because it's going to make you feel that much better when you go over there. Find something you can live with, and then make sure it's a really good redemption and just do it, man. Just throw a dart at the wall and go. I'm not a big fan of pre-planning a ton of stuff and doing all the analytics and choosing the perfect place. There's not a perfect place. Every place has really cool things and some not so cool things. And here's the thing. I never treat any of these places like it's my last time ever going anywhere. I think a lot of people, they get in trouble and they say, well, I have to do everything in this 3 days, and they make themselves miserable. Go there, have fun. You know you can go back. You know you can go to different places, but make sure you're getting a really good redemption. David Ruiz did not pay a fee to get into Europe. No, it's 2024, David. I think at least Italy was going to do a fee to enter the country, and I don't know if everybody's going to do it. David Williams says Uncle Luke was. I can't smash anybody anymore. I'm too old, but I'm big enough and ugly enough they don't bother me. Vincent Pascal says one alternative to the fanny pack is the crossbody sling. Listen, you can quote me on this. You will never, ever see me wearing a crossbody sling. Ever. It's a purse. I don't judge anybody for wearing that, but they probably don't even make one that would fit across me. I'd rather wear a bandolier of bullets and a fanny pack than the crossbody. I won't do that. But to each their own. If you look good doing it, you look good. Do your thing. David Ruiz, Switzerland is expensive. We're fully prepared. Yeah. Wong Wei has a good advice for Victor. If you can get global entry, definitely get global entry, TSA pre-check, clear, anything you can get get it. It makes, in my opinion, it makes traveling way better, way easier. Lynn's Rideshare Hustle. Any good sign up bonuses right now? I'll be honest, man. Yeah, the Platinum OG has it right there. The 90K offer on the inks is big time and top dog to me right now. You can still find the 150 or 190,000 MR point offer for the Platinum if you don't have that card. But I think the 90K offer on the inks is big time. And I went through them really fast. Not able to get any more right now, but if I was looking, if I could, I would be grabbing a couple of those inks. John did his first international trip in Iceland back in September. That's big time, dude. Going to France on KLM business class. Nice work. Beefy Brian, have you ever been to Asia? I've never been to real Asia. And what I mean by that is I've been to 2 or 3 Asian cities in Turkey, and I've been to Dubai and Qatar. I've never been to Asia. And I'm not sure why, but I think it has to do with my trips are very short. I'll do a 3 or 4 day trip to Europe. But flying all the way to Asia takes a little bit more time, and it's just not something I have a whole lot of right now. I do have aspirations to go to Tokyo. I definitely want to go to Vietnam very soon. So hopefully pretty soon I can change that. Anthony says, what if the crossbody fanny pack is held with a bandolier? That might be cool, like shotgun shells and like a little tiny pack, like a little tiny pack. That might be cool. David Ruiz says he got one for Christmas. David, don't do it, man. Well, I guess if you're younger or you're European, rock it. But if you're just, no, I'm not doing it. Oh, Matt Clausen applied for the Ink Cash. He's waiting to hear back. That's funny, man, because Konstantinos just did a video where he had to wait for his Chase card approval. And my wife just applied for an Ink Cash Unlimited, and it's been about a week, and she hasn't heard anything back. And she's under 524, and she's been getting Chase cards. So it's really weird. Chase must be either really behind on the applications or they must have some issues, because I've heard a lot of people talk about having to wait on those applications. The Dollar Man says the crossbody sling would look cute on me. Thank you. I mean, if my wife bought me one, I'd probably wear it, but pretty sure she would not buy me one of those. Yeah, Wong Wei says Vietnam's tough to find on awards. Yeah. I mean, if I can do an award to Korea and then cash out the rest of the way, that might be something. Anthony Venture starting a fanny pack fund. Thank you, sir. Coming in with a super thanks. We're making money tonight, boys. We're going to be able to afford Switzerland. Victor Martinez just got his income way up this year, and he got screwed on taxes. Any advice to lower your tax burden? Yes, I have a lot of advice. My favorite thing to lower your tax burden: buy a rental property. Folks that own rental properties get a lot of tax breaks and incentives. And I don't want to, that could be an entire video unto itself, but since I've purchased a rental property, now I will say it was the very beginning, it was a ton of work. I had to learn the process, and I had to do the process, and I had to put in the work to get the home ready. But since I've had it up and running, it's been a very good tax break vehicle for me. I write my mileage off to go check on it every week or whatever. Anything I buy for it is written off. But yeah, real estate, any business really. This YouTube channel helps me a little bit with taxes. Yeah, the taxes I mean, we could be here for 2 hours just talking about how to reduce your tax liability. Now, make one thing straight. I'm not saying talk about how not to pay taxes. I'm saying reduce your tax liability. So I would definitely, if you, with your income in the 6 figures, start doing the research, get with a real person that could probably mentor you in that. Not these kids on TikTok, real people, real, get an old guy. They know how to do it. They've been doing it for years. Benjamin Allen says he's meet and greet in Southeast Asia. Put it together. Southeast Asia. Put it together, Benjamin. I'll be there. Matt Clausen says he got the Ink Unlimited. in August and had to wait 2 weeks. Okay, that's good information. I was wondering where her application was because I've never had to wait for one, but it seems really common right now. Tokyo in April, cherry blossoms, absolutely. David Ruiz, wear your purse, man. Just do it. You're all right. Oh, the Dollar Man. Thank you, sir. Coming in, Dollar Man coming in with the super thanks for Team Crossbody. Hey, if you guys can pull it off, more power to you. I get it. I'm not a hater on anybody's fashion. Do your thing. It's just not. It's not age appropriate for me. And you're talking about a guy who has no fashion sense. I get my clothes from Stitch Fix, and if you're not familiar with that, is you get like a personal stylist and you tell them what you want and they send you clothes every few months and they kind of interview you. And I said, hey, listen, I want to dress like a 46-year-old dad. That's it. Send me some nice stuff. That's it. I just keep anything they send me as long as it fits. David Ruiz says find an award to Thailand, Singapore, or Malaysia, and then take a cheap flight. Yeah. If I were to do that, man, I would probably try to go to Singapore on Singapore Airlines because I'm such a big fan of Singapore Airlines. I love those people there. Love those people on that airline. Did a really good job. Skylar Ray's going to move to Kenya next year. Expecting you to come visit in 2020. Yeah, man. Man, that gets me excited, man, because yeah, Kenya's not a place I've ever really considered going, but that makes me really excited to go see someone in Kenya. That's big time. Keep me up to speed on that, man. I like that. Scott LeRae, guys. Again, Scott LeRae, if you haven't seen his YouTube channel, he's travels a lot travels a lot to Africa and all sorts of different places in Africa that I can't even pronounce. And he relays a lot of information that most of us don't know about Africa. So check out Scott LeRae's channel. Really, really interesting stuff. I'm sorry, I'm dead air. Wong Wei says Chase is taking a long time, but will deny you instantly. True, So the longer you wait, I think you're good. What happened to Japan in October? Let's do it, man. I'm down with Japan in October. I'm looking. I'm looking constantly for the ANA business and first class to open up. Oh, the dollar. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused here. Oh no, the Dollar Man. He's talking about with the approvals. Chase is taking a couple weeks to approve people right now. David William had to wait. Matt Welter says credit card creator meetup in Kenya 2024. Here's the thing, man. I don't know if we want to do a whole meetup there. Let me go scout it out with Scott. I'll make sure everything's cool, and then we'll do a big meetup. We don't want to bring the whole crew out there in case it's really good. I don't want to share. But if the cat's out of the bag, let's just all meet up in Kenya. I think that's a really cool idea. That's someplace I've never considered going, but it excites me to think about it. Moving to Kenya, that is a big deal. Mark Henderson says Kenya's great. Hit Tanzania, Kilimanjaro, Serengeti, Zanzibar. You got all the really cool African names just in one little post. Good job, Mark. Anthony Venture will meet us in Africa. Kenya's on the equator. Keith S. says it took Chase 3 weeks to approve his Inc. preferred. No reconsideration necessary, just wait time. So that's good. And that's good to know because I was really wondering what was taking so long with my wife's application, but seems like it's just normal. Are we all good with Africa sometime in the next year? Maybe 2024, maybe early 2025. Let's all start thinking about Africa. Can you do Africa in 3 days? Can you just do 3 days in Africa? How long is that flight, Scott? That sounds like it's probably pretty far. What are we wearing? We were doing Avianca to get there, or Avianca? Yeah, spill it, Scott. How do you get to Africa? I'm pretty sure you told me one time Avianca is a good way to go or get back. Yeah, and Frank definitely misses the rain down in Africa. Emirates. Okay, yeah, let's do Emirates. Very interesting. I like that. So what do you guys think? Do you think the boring, regular, standard Midwestern family trip to Hawaii or the really kind of quirky European trip with 4 different cities? Which one would you guys prefer? Now, keep in mind, we already have beach trips. So I would consider Hawaii very much a beach resort trip. We already have those planned. We just got back from Mexico. Um, we're doing Grand Cayman for spring break. Avianca via Lufthansa to Johannesburg. Okay, I like that. But I think the European trip is a lot better for me um, than the regular Hawaii thing. To me, I'm trying to kind of get this schedule where we go to the beach and somewhere warm when it's cold in Ohio, and then in the summertime we go somewhere like Europe. So Yokoyama. Go to Puerto Rico. Hey, Puerto Rico. I went to Puerto Rico when I was a boy in the Navy and have some really nice memories of Puerto Rico. I definitely want to take my boy to Puerto Rico. Um, so that's definitely on the list. But Puerto Rico, I can probably do Puerto Rico with a long weekend. I can do a 3-night trip to Puerto Rico, no problem. So that'll be something I do kind of in between these bigger trips. KLM to East Africa. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, David Reese says Europe is like. Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, the Hawaii thing. I definitely go back to Hawaii, but Switzerland, Amsterdam, Malta. That's just something that's going to stick in my family's brains forever. They're going to love that. Hawaii is always there for you year round, and that's true. I can go to Hawaii any month. The weather's going to be great. Scott takes Ethiopia Airlines using United Miles or Avianca Life Miles when going to North or East Africa. Sometimes KLM. If he's going to Southern Africa, he uses Virgin Atlantic. So tons of different ways to get there. And Africa is a super big place, so there's tons of places to go. Scott, what is your favorite African destination for fun? Not the cultural stuff, not the serious stuff. What's your favorite African destination to have a couple adult beverages and cut loose and have a good time? And I know you do it because I've seen your videos. We're waiting for Scott. He's probably typing like 7 different places. Everywhere he goes is a good place to hang out. So we got Matt Welter, we got Anthony Venture, and Scott all going to Kenya. I like it. Oh, Matt, if you're still here, I want to talk to you about Panama because I may be down there at the same time you are. I probably shouldn't have said that because my dad doesn't know that's where we're going, but I'm pretty sure he won't watch this. Everyone must go to Cape Town, South Africa. Family friendly, single friendly, lots to do. One of the most beautiful places in the world. So Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, and Kevin Witherspoon says Cape Verde. Cape Verde's that's pretty far north, right? Quite a bit north than Cape Town. I think Scott and a couple other guys really just opened up a whole new world of travel for everybody on the live. We're talking about traveling to Africa instead of Europe and Hawaii. So definitely a big world, a lot more different places to go. Tips for Iceland on points. Iceland's not the easiest place to go on points, right? Like Luke, if you can go to Boquete in Panama. If possible, go to Darien. We're going to Panama City. And we're going to be pretty busy while we're there. So I'm not sure. I honestly don't know where those other places are if they're possible to run off to for a day or whatever. No. Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe if we like it, we'll go back, and we'll hit some of those other places that aren't mainstream. Kevin says Egypt is a hidden gem. Now, my Filipino security man, Glenn, went to Egypt this year. He liked it. They have a Hilton resort with a private beach. Is Egypt safe right now? I always say that for the people who care about that sort of thing. Personally, I don't care, but if we're talking about northern Egypt, there's probably some places I would avoid right now. Um, Not that there's anything going on there, but it is close to some things that could happen. And I don't want to get into any kind of geopolitical issues, but there are armed conflicts in certain places around the world, and there could be something close to that in Egypt. Sorry, I had to scratch my eye. So I'm glad to see that everybody agrees with me that the quirky, crazy European vacation is probably better than the boring Waldorf Maui thing. I feel really good about that, and I want to do a video pretty soon about the redemption from Geneva to JFK, because I don't know what it is with these super inflated price on some of these European business class carriers, but you can get tons of value for your transferable currencies from flying to Europe, round trip or one ways. I want to say I don't even know what the cents per point for the Swiss Air business class, but it's probably a record for me. Oh, John's talking about flying to Iceland. Yeah, it's Iceland's not. If you guys have any tips for Iceland on points, drop them in the comments. I'm at a loss right now. I don't. I know a lot of people will just fly Iceland Air. Glenn Ardonia says he'll take Europe anytime, and Glenn is the authority. Me and Glenn are going to go to Vietnam pretty soon. I have to take him because he speaks the language. Be a lot easier to get around because Cape Verde's west coast of Africa. Yeah, that might be fun. That might be really fun. I'm definitely thinking about taking Scott up on that offer and checking out the Africa. All right, guys, we are going to shut this one down at 1 hour. So we've got about 2 or 3 minutes. If you guys got anything you want to talk about real quick or any questions you have, I'll answer them for you. And I hate to leave when we've peaked at 90 people in here, which is it's a lot of people here, guys. So appreciate everybody coming in here. I'm ready for. I'm not watching Thursday Night Football tonight. I'm going to sleep. I've had a long week, but you guys that are in here, I appreciate every single one of you. You definitely make this a worthwhile endeavor, and the things that we share in here. And I had someone comment on one of my other videos that they're amazed that we have such a good group of people in here. We never have any trouble. We never have any drama. And we have a bunch of people in here that know the game or are trying to learn the game. So we've got a super good group here, and I appreciate you guys coming in. Platinum OG, enjoy your trip. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Scott, yeah, Scott says hit the like button if you want to go to Africa. And I definitely do. Where's my like button? Let me hit this like button, I think. Oh, I hit something else. Okay, so we won't do that. Guys, appreciate it. I will see you. I will have some new content out this weekend and next week. And remember, I'm going live every Thursday in December. So if you have a topic you want to discuss next Thursday, drop it in one of the community posts, and we will absolutely, all 80 of us or 90 of us will talk about it. So you'll get your answers. Before we go, David Reese says, Iceland Air and Alaska are partners. Business class on Iceland Air with Alaska miles is a premium economy redemption. Something to think about. You guys have a great rest of your week. Appreciate you. Thank you. See you later.